Again, 2 different color highlighters or markers out for today. And a pencil. There's markers in the back if you need to borrow markers. So just read the question. Again, you don't have to draw that picture, just read it. Think about it. All right, let's take a look at that warm-up. So it says, you've got a picture there of 2 different triangles, right? And obviously some kind of transformation is happening to those triangles. So the first question says, which triangle is your pre-image and which triangle is your image? How do you know? What does pre-image mean, Bobo? Before you reflect it or move it. So which one of those is your starting image, your pre-image?
More to the left.
More to the left. Okay. Why is that one on the left your pre-image? The one on the right has the primes. Yes. So if it has the primes next to it, that means it's the image. That means it's been moved. If it doesn't have those tick marks next to it, that means that's your starting picture, where you begin. So in this picture, I start on the left and then I move towards the right. Good. All right, letter B. What is happening to the triangles in this picture? What looks like is going on? Reflected, moved. What does reflected mean, though? It's like a mirror. It's flipped. Are these a mirror image of each other? Like if Miss DeMasso folded it in half, would they all match up? No, they would not match up. What is she doing to those 2 triangles? How am I transforming them? I'm just moving it. I'm sliding it. It's another word that starts with a T. It's not transform. Nope. Try again.
Transfer.
Nope. Translate. There we go. Do you remember that word before? Have you heard it before? Translate? Maybe. It means you slide something. You just push it over to the side, essentially. Okay, so the last question says, does the triangle remain the same size and shape after the transformation? How do you know? Are they the same? Why? All I'm doing is pushing it to the side. I'm just translating it over, right? So if Miss DeMasso took herself and she just slides herself over, right? I'm still the same person. I just slid myself over. How many am I sliding that picture over? How many boxes or how many units am I moving over?
Are you talking about how many boxes
from the original to the new one?
Oh,
6. Yeah, I'm going 6 over to the, which way? To the right. So would that be a positive 6 or a negative 6? Positive, because I'm going to the right. Very good. So today we're going to talk about another transformation called a translation. So we talked about reflections yesterday, right? Flipping them. Today we're talking about a translation, which is just pushing it or sliding it. So we're going to watch a quick little video, a minute, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards.
I think a little 11 seconds.
Okay, a minute and 11 seconds. I was rounding down. All right, and then we'll watch this video, and then it'll kind of give us an intro to what we're doing today.
Translation describes one way a geometric shape can move on a coordinate plane. When you translate a shape, it's like you make an exact copy of it. and slide the copy to another spot. The shape stays the same. Here's how it works. Say we want to move this triangle to another location on a coordinate plane. First, we name the ordered pair for each of the shape's vertices. Then, to show where the shape is moving, we can use a mapping notation, like this, to show the translation. If we move positive 4 on the x-axis, then we know to move the shape 4 to the right. And if we use negative 2 on the y-axis, then we know to move the shape 2 down on the coordinate plane. Now we know which direction to slide the shape. Notice that the moved shape is congruent to the original, which means their corresponding angles and sides are the same. We use these little symbols to show what we've done to create this translation. So there you have it. When a geometric shape is moved on a coordinate plane, it's called translation.
Okay, so translating just means taking it and sliding it over. So I'm not making it bigger or smaller. It stays exactly the same. I just push it over to the side is all that essentially is that we're doing. The important part is going to be this part right over here where I have a rule. So the X's tell me which way to slide it right and left. And then the Y's tell me if I should go up or down. Okay, so having this rule is going to tell me, do I go right, left, up, or down? And that's what we are going to practice today. So you should have grabbed from the back a notes page. Go ahead and put your name on it. And today's date, it is the 21st. I'm going to read in second period. Okay.
So your name is notes now?
I just always put notes so I know where to, where to put things. Okay. So we're going to be taking shapes and we're going to be translating them or sliding them on the coordinate plane. So the first ones we're going to do is we're going to do some translations while graphing. So I have a pre-image, which means my starting point, and my pre-image is triangle A, B, C. So it's this one over here. This is my pre-image. So right inside of it, I'm just going to write the word, if you guys don't mind, and I want you to as well. You can put the word pre-image. I just put pre inside of mine. So I know that's where I am starting, my pre-image. That's my beginning point. Now it gets transformed or translated over to this triangle over here. Which way does it look like I'm going to be moving my triangle? Right or left? Probably to the right. And then am I going to go up or down? Down. So it looks like I'm going to go to the right and down. First thing we're going to do is we're going to write the coordinates of point A, B, and C. Well, A prime, B prime, and C prime, excuse me. Okay, so the first one I want to do is this coordinate point A prime. So if you start from the center at 0, 0, how many do I go over? Okay.
You get to A.
To get to A prime.
7.
I go to the right 7, and then I go down -5. Okay, so I go to the right 7, down 5. So that's where the -5 is, right? So this is right, and this was down. Okay, what about point B? 3, 2. To the right 3, up 2. And last one, what about C prime? 8, -1. Good. All right, so I've got all of my coordinates written. Now I'm going to talk about which way my graphs are going to go. So I'm going to take my first color. Grab your first color. We're going to go from point A to point A prime, and we're only going to go left or right. So you guys told me we are going to the right. So I'm going to make a line from A all the way over until I'm right above A prime. From A to A prime. Okay, now count those boxes. How many boxes did you move to the right? So how many boxes are colored now in your first color? 10. Okay, so I went 10 units to the right. We're going to check and make sure all of ours went 10. So I'm going to do the same for B. From B to B prime, I'm going to count them again. I'm going to make sure it's 10. 8, 9, 10. Yep, looks like I got 10 as well. And then I'm going to do C prime as well. C to C prime. All of them are moving to the right 10 units. So over here, do I go left or right? I'm going to the right. And I'm going 10 units. Now, if I'm going to the right 10, is that a positive 10 or a negative 10? Positive. So I'm going to put a plus 10 right next to it. Good. Now I'm going to see if I go up or down. So if I go from A, so here's where A was, right? All the way over here now. I moved 10 to the right. To get from this point in pink all the way down to A prime, how many did I move? 4. Let's check the other ones. B to B prime, is that 4 again? Yep, and what about C to C prime? 4 again. So I went down -4 because I went down. Good. -4. Good job. So you have now just figured out your translation. Your translation is to take your pre-image, go to the right 10, and go down 4. And now you're done. You figured it out. So you should be able to do it by looking at a graph. You can also do it by looking just at the coordinates, right? If Miss Tommaso went right 10, that means I need to take a -3 and add 10 to it. What happens when Miss Tommaso does -3 plus 10?
7.
Oh, I get 7. Look at that. It's right there. What happens when I do -7 plus 10?
3.
I get 3. What about -2 plus 10? 8. So notice you're taking the pre-image, you're doing whatever the translation is, and you should end at the image points. Same thing for your y values. If I'm going down 4, that means I'm taking my y values and subtracting 4. What's 1 minus 4? -5. What's 6 minus 4? What's 3 minus 4? Right? So all of those should match up. So you should be able to do it by a graph or by just looking at the points. So when I take my points and I move them to the right or left, up or down to create a new image, this is called a translation. So this just means it's a slide, right? So I'm going from one spot to another. Now, I'm going to write a rule for my translation. And my rule for my translation looks like this. It's very similar to the ones we did for reflections. I start at x comma y, and then I go towards wherever it is that I move for my x's and my y's. So if I'm going to the right 10, is my x moving or is my y moving? To the right. The x. This one's your x. So if I'm going to the right 10, I'm going to put x plus 10. That means to the right 10. If I'm going down 4, is that the x or the y? The y. And since I'm going down, it's what kind of 4? Negative. So it's y minus 4. And there's your rule. So this mathematically tells you what happens in this picture. It says go to the right 10, go down 4. And that's it. That's all translation is. So if you can do this part here by writing the graph, the rest of it's super simple. All right, so let's try another one. Do I have questions on that one before I go on? Okay, good. So we're going to take our pre-image and we're going to transform it into this new image. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write the coordinates here, or excuse me, I'm going to plot the coordinates of my pre-image. So let's plot these 3 points on my graph. So point A is 3, 5. That means go to the right 3, go up 5. Point B is 5, 2. That means go to the right 5. Go up 2. Point C is 0, 1, which means you don't go right or left. You just go up 1. And I'm going to connect it. And this one is my pre-image. So again, I'm going to put the word pre inside of it because this is my pre-image. It's where I begin. Okay. The pre-image is moved left 4 and down 2. If I'm going to the left, is that your X's that are moving or your Y's? Your X's. Now I'm going to the left 4. So I'm going to take each one of my points and I'm going to go to the left 4. If you want to even put a little arrow there, you can. To the left 4. And then from that point, I'm going to go where now? Left 4 and down 2. So from that point, I'm going to go down 2. And that will be my new coordinates. And so when I write my new coordinates, I'm going to make sure that I put the little prime symbols right next to it. So it overlaps just a little bit. But in my picture, I took it from the right. I went to the left 4, and then I slid it down 2. So your picture should look exactly the same, just in a different place. So I went left, and then I went down. Okay. So we're going to write the coordinates now of our new points. What are the new coordinates of A prime right here? What's that first coordinate?
2.
So I'm starting at 0, 0 right in the center. So go to the left 1 and up 3. Negative 1, positive 3. What about B prime right here? 1, 0. Go to the right 1, and then I don't go up or down. What about C prime all the way over here? Ooh, negative 4, negative 1. Good. So I've taken my picture, I've slid it to the left 4 and down 2. So now I'm going to write the rule for that translation. X, Y becomes. Now, I went to the left 4. What does that mean? Where do I put that in my equation? Is that your X or your Y? X minus 4 because I went to the left 4. Good. What do I do for my Y's? Y minus 2, Jaden. Y minus 2. Because it's going down. So you do Y minus 2. Good. So left meant I go minus 4 on the X. Down mean I went down 2 on the Y. So it's not hard. But you just got to be careful with your signs and careful with your positions, right? So you should be able to, if you get a graph, be able to slide your picture to the right, to the left, up, or down. Do I have questions on that one? How we feeling so far? Feeling pretty good? I'll take your lack of answers as a yes, I guess. Okay. All right, let's flip it over to the other side. All right, number 3. You've got a pre-image That's listed there. So what I would like you to do is I want you guys to try number 3, and we're going to see if we get the same answer. So give number 3 a try. You're going to plot those points, and then you're going to move it. Okay, so plot those points, and then you're going to move them, and it says move to the right 2, and it does not say up or down, just to the right 2. So plot those points, and then you're going to translate it. Okay. 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 I think right now it's 25, but
I know. You want to go
back here. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other thing is yeah. Okay. All right. Slide it over to the side. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Coordinates. I'm seeing some great things already. So if you slide one way, you're only sliding to the right, I think. Then you don't have to slide it up or down. All right, so does yours look like Ms. Damascus? Yeah? Okay, so it just says to the right 2, but it doesn't move up or down, right? So I'm only moving just to the right. It's not going up or down, so they should be right next to each other. How do you think this rule is going to be different than my other rules? So if you're not moving up or down, what number means you're not moving up or down? You're probably going to have a 0 in your rule this time around. So if I wanted to say that I go to the right 2, but I do not go up or down, how do I write that rule? What do you think? XY becomes what? Right 2 means which one? The X or the Y? X. So I'm going to put X what? X plus 2, right to the right 2. And nothing's happening to the Y, so I just leave it as a plain old Y. Nothing happened to it. Didn't move up, didn't move down, just a Y. So if you see a Y and a Y, or you see an X and an X, that means it does not get slid whichever way that it is located there. Okay, that means it's not moving at all. Are these 2 triangles the same size and shape? Yeah. Are they congruent? Yeah. I didn't make them bigger. I didn't make them smaller. All I did was slide it over to the side. So they stay the exact same size and shape. Okay, now we've done translations with a graph. Now we're going to do it without a graph. Now we're going to do it just with numbers. So in number 4, it says, triangle ABC is translated using the following rule. XY becomes x plus 2, y minus 5. Describe in words how my pre-image is translated. Okay, so if I take my x's and I add 2 to my x's, which way does that mean I go? To the right. So I'm going to go to the right 2. Right? X plus 2 means go to the right 2. I should not have done that. Oops, it wasn't dry. My fault. What am I, my bad. What am I going to do with my y's? What happens with y and y minus 5? What does that mean happens? Down 5. Good. And look at Mr. Masso got smarter. I put the highlight down first. Oh, I know, I'm so smart. Okay, so we're going to go to the right 2, down 5. So I'm going to look at my pre-image points. I'm going to look at just the x's to start. Okay, just the x's. So I'm going to highlight all of my x's. Those are the first ones. I want to take those x's and I want to add 2 to each one of those x's. Yes. Got it? Okay. I'm going to add 2 to each of those x's. So all I'm going to do is take the number that's given to me and add 2 to the number. But I'm literally just going to add. So what is 6 plus 2? 8. What is 2 plus 2? What is 0 plus 2? 2. Look at you guys. You just did all of your x variables. Right, that was easy. Now I'm going to do the same thing for my y's. What do I have to do with my y's? Subtract 5 from each one. So what is 12 minus 5? What is 4 minus 5? Good. What is 2 minus 5? Oh my gosh, look at you guys. You are translation masters. Not hard, right? Do you think you can do number 5? Yes, totally. All right, you do number 5 and then we're going to check it together. So give you a minute and a half. You can say 0 or you can use say or no change in that nature. No, so you always go back to the one right before it. You guys do some highlighting. Good, good. All right. So first thing we're going to do is describe in words what's happening. Okay, so if you look at your x's, right, it goes from x to x. What does that mean? Nothing happens. There's no change. So you can either write no change, write 0, or you can put x stays the same. Any of those are fine. So none of my x's should change. So I'm just going to literally copy them. From 0, it should stay 0. -6 stays -6. And 0 stays 0. None of those change. That was easy. What do I have to do for my y's? What does y -6, what does that mean? Where do I go? Down 6. So I'm going to take these numbers and I'm going to subtract 6 from them. So what's 0 minus 6? What's 4 minus 6? 7 minus 6. Ta-da, you're finished. You got it. How you feeling? Are you feeling like if Mr. Massa gave you a translation quiz, you would kill it? And rock it? Why?
Because I'm not good at graphs.
There's no graphs here.
Like that, if it was just like that, okay.
Okay. All right, can I go on to the next one? You ready? Okay, so we did translations without graphing here. I gave you the rule. Now for the next one, I give you the pre-image points and the image points, and what you have to do is give me the rule. Easy enough. So all you have to do essentially is figure out what's the pattern. How are your x's changing? How are your y's changing? That's all I'm really looking for. So let's just look at my x's. I'm going to highlight all of my x's and I'm only going to look at those. All right, what happens if I go from my pre-image to my image? So I start at my pre-image and go to my pre-image. What do I have to do to go from 12 to 5? Subtract 7. What do I have to do to go from 8 to 1? What about from 10 to 3? Subtract 7. So I'm taking my x values and I'm subtracting 7. Good. Now I'm going to look at my y values. What does Ms. Damaso have to do for her y values? So how do I get from 7 to -1? Subtract 8. How do I get from 4 to -4? Subtract 8. And what about 5 to -3? Subtract 8. So I'm taking my y values and I'm subtracting 8. So to write it as a rule, I go x, y becomes what? You just wrote it right here. What do I write? Perfect. X minus 7, y minus 8. And in words, which way does x minus 7 take me? To the left. Which way does y minus 8 take me? Down. So I would be taking that picture and going left and down. Do you think you can do number 7?
No.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give number 7 a try. Let's see if we come up with the same thing. So all you got to do is look at where your x's change and where your y's change. Oh, well, like. Good? Ooh, you're jumping on to the next one. Love it. Beautiful. Make sure you put in parentheses. Good. Killing it. Good. 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 Oh yeah, we all look like we're killing that one. Easy stuff, right? Good. Good. Good, good, good. Oh yeah, you guys are killing it at translation.
Okay, let's go over.
Let's do it. Okay, so to get from -3 to 0, what does Miss Massa have to do? +3. To get from -7 to -4. What? +3. What? I'm still on this. I'm still on the x's. -4 to -1.
Oh,
+3. You should check them all to make sure that they are all exactly the same, because if they're not all the same, it's not a translation. So I'm taking my x values and I'm adding 3. Good. Now, what am I doing for the y values? -6. A really easy one to look at is that 0 and -6.
you made me go.
Well, why did I make you that yourself?
So I said, you aren't taking me by phone. I'm still on the first one.
Well, I was still on the x's. You were just jumping too quickly for me. Okay, so to get from 5 to -1, you subtract 6. Again, you're going from your pre-image to your image. Good. All right, last one. Multi-step translations. For just enough time. In the multi-step translations, that means you're going to take a picture, pre-image. I'm going to translate it once, and then I'm going to translate it again. So maybe I slide it to the right and up, and then maybe the second time I slide it to the left and down. But you're taking the same picture, you're just sliding it multiple times. Okay? That's all a multi-step translation is. No, it's not. All right, so here is my starting place, my pre-image. It's 2, 5, and 5, 9. The first thing I'm going to do is translate this segment using this rule, and we're going to write the coordinates of it. So ignore the rest. We're just going to do that first part there. Okay? So I'm going to highlight my x's, and then I'm going to highlight my y's. Okay. So I'm going to follow the rule for each one. Point D is 2, 5. What do I need to do to my x value? Add 5 to it. So I'm going to do 2 plus 5, and I get 7. What do I need to do with my y value? -1. So I'm going to take 5 minus 1, and I get 4. Okay, who can raise their hand and give me the coordinates for E? Or sorry, E prime. Here's E, it's 5, 9. What's E prime after I do this translation to it, Cooper? 10, 8. Good, so I do 5 plus 5 is 10. 9 minus 1 is 8. So you did your first translation. X plus 5 means you moved which way? Right. Y minus 1 means you moved which way? Whoa. Down. Okay, so in my first translation, I moved to the right and down. Now, I'm going to take this new translation and I'm going to translate it again. So now I'm going to ignore the top part and I'm just going to look at these bottom points. Again, I'm going to do the same thing.
Okay.
Going to highlight my x's and I'll highlight my y's. Okay. My translation says x minus 4, comma y. So what does that mean I'm doing? I'm taking 4 away from the x. What do I have to do with the y? Nothing. I'm going to leave it exactly the same. So I'm going to take my x value, subtract 4, leave my y value the same. What will my coordinates be of D double prime? Good. So I subtracted 7 minus 4 to get 3. I leave my 4 the same. What will be my coordinates of E double prime? 6, 8. Good, and now you're done. You have translated your figure twice. Those are your final coordinates. Now, in the first one, I moved it right and down. In the second one, I moved it left, and that's it. Didn't go up or down. Are those pictures the same? Like, did they change shape or size? No, they're congruent. Why? I'm just sliding them. I'm not making them bigger or smaller. So they are congruent, yes, because all I'm doing is sliding. Right? And so that stays the same. All right, you've got 4 minutes left. Do you think you can finish number 9?
No.
Yes, you can. You just got to follow the rules. All right, so you try number 9. We're going to check number 9 tomorrow. Give it a try. Do it right now. You got 4 minutes. You can get it done and over with, man.
Is he telling me to add another row? Or are you going to put another row?
I have no idea. I don't know. What does he want from me?